is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our 1-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Africa. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro Channel 1. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on TuneIn and via satellite Eutelsat 16A on 11,512 MHz, vertical polarization, azimuth 16 degrees east. Symbol rate 29,950 megasymbols per second, standard DVB-S2, modulation 8 PSK, audio PIV 510. We wish you good reception conditions.
I'm Anna Maria Popescu with the news. First, the headlines. Prime Minister Nicolae Ciucă has a meeting in Bucharest with the European Commissioner for Economy, Paolo Gentiloni. EU interior ministers have approved a plan for better coordination with respect to Ukrainian war refugees. And Romania's national football team plays against Israel away from home. Prime Minister Nicolae Ciucă has a meeting in Bucharest today with the EU Commissioner for Economy, Paolo Gentiloni. The Romanian official says the topics approached will include the temporary emergency measures taken recently by the European Commission and used by Romanian authorities since the start of the conflict in Ukraine. Yesterday, Paolo Gentiloni discussed with the Finance Minister Adrian Căciu the refugee issue as well as the economic decisions to be made in the event of shocks in supply chains. The EU Commissioner said the Union is discussing ways to curb inflation and address the economic consequences of the conflict in Ukraine. There are currently no risks to food safety in Europe, Paolo Gentiloni also said yesterday. On Monday, he was also received by President Klaus Iohannis, who pleaded for flexibility with respect to the financial resources earmarked for 2024-2020 and not yet spent, allowing the money to be used for handling the Ukrainian refugee situation. A new round of peace talks takes place today and tomorrow in Istanbul after several rounds held in Belarus and online. Kyiv says its goals in the negotiations include the pullout of Russian troops from Ukraine and security guarantees. In turn, Moscow wants Ukraine to give up its NATO accession plan to recognize the breakaway regions of Donetsk and Luhansk in the east and the incorporation of Crimea by Russia. In the field, Russian troops continue to shell the areas around the capital Kyiv, but Ukrainian forces withstand the attacks. The heaviest bombings were reported near Irpin, northwest of the capital, where Ukrainians say they have full control. The port city of Mariupol in the south is on the verge of a humanitarian disaster and must be fully evacuated, said Mayor Vadim Boychenko. According to him, nearly 160,000 civilians are stranded in the city without water, food, medicines and electricity. The Red Cross has already requested Russia and Ukraine to secure a humanitarian corridor. EU interior ministers Monday approved a plan for better coordination with respect to Ukrainian war refugees. The EU Commissioner for Home Affairs, Ylva Johansson, has announced that so far 3.8 million people, especially women, children and elderly people, have fled Ukraine. Member states requested additional funding from the Commission to manage the inflows, with the Commission announcing additional aid is already being prepared. European Union interior ministers also agreed to launch an EU-wide platform for the registration of refugees arriving in the Union and applying for temporary protection. They also put together unified rules for receiving and supporting children, including unaccompanied minors, and a plan against human trafficking. In this context, Romania continues to support Ukrainian refugees and the authorities in that country. Since the start of the war, over 570,000 Ukrainian nationals have entered Romania. Most of them only transited the country, while around 4,300 applied for asylum in Romania. Close to 2,000 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed for the past 24 hours in Romania, the authorities announced on Monday. Most new infections, over 650, were reported in Bucharest. Right now, over 2,800 patients are being treated in hospitals for COVID, of whom 400 in intensive care. The authorities also announced 8 fatalities, 2 of which from a previous date. The Health Minister, Alexandru Rafila, said COVID-19 hospitals will gradually resume their regular operations by the end of September. We end with sports. Romania's national football team plays against Israel today, away from home, in a friendly match. This is the second test match played by the national squad under the management of Eduard Iordanescu. In his first game as a coach, the team lost against Greece 1-0 in Bucharest on Friday. And that was the news on Radio Romania International.
What you're messing with. Why in the hell don't you leave it alone?
Who is she?
They look just like you and I, but inside they're different. They have no soul.
Who are you?
They call me the garbage man. I dispose of human garbage.
Why are you telling me all this?
Because you're in danger. There's been a little accident, an escape. They're very real, very dangerous, Jeff.